What's up, YouTube? I wanted to make one more video addressing this issue of whether or not the Nile shows some problems with the globe model and possibly a flat Earth. If you look at this website called Debunking Flat Earth Misconceptions, they have an article called "The Earth is Spherical and the Nile Never Flows Uphill Anywhere." You can see down here it says, "The Nile never flows uphill, or in other words, ascend to a location farther from sea level anywhere in the Nile Basin." So I have a question. Why in this diagram does it show the source of the Nile being at Lake Victoria, flowing into another lake and into another lake, and then when it gets to this lowest point, it's actually, according to your diagram and this arrow, changing its level, making an upward motion toward this highest point where it then starts to go downhill like water does naturally. So again, if gravity is pulling everything toward the center, that's what the globe model is claiming. Okay. And according to this diagram, the water is changing its level. At what point are we going to be able to see that on a ball Earth? Okay. It should be visible at some point. Okay. So that's why people start asking questions about this. They also make another interesting claim on this website, and I want to address this because someone actually addressed a challenge that I put in my last video, okay? And I appreciated that comment, but it says flat earthers think if the water in a small container forms a flat surface, then it must always be flat no matter how wide the surface is. They are wrong. The surface of water forms a spherical surface that has roughly the same distance to Earth's center of gravity. It appears flat only because the curvature is minuscule in such a small container. So by that logic, there should be some size container that you could put water in and we would see its curved nature. Okay, please show that. That's what I want to see. And someone actually did send this comment to me, and it actually disappeared from YouTube. I didn't delete it, so I don't know why it's not showing up now unless he took it down. But he sent me a video of people on the ISS using droppers to form these spheres of water. Okay, now the problem with this is that this is allegedly in space with the absence of gravity. So if we're on Earth and that droplet, because that's basically what it is a droplet, if that fell to the ground on the Earth, what would happen to it? It would become a level small puddle. Okay, so the fact that this is on the ISS, not in a container like the Debunking Flat Earth website tried to prove, I don't think that, this is really proving that argument. And besides, a lot of people do believe that these ISS recordings are done on a plane flying at high altitudes, experiencing 0G. So, you know, people can actually pay to go experience that themselves. I've seen a lot of good evidence of fake footage on the ISS. I'm not going to get into that in this video. It's really a topic for its own. But again, another person addressed this issue, okay, of, if this is going along the curve of the Earth, okay, and it's flowing north from below the equator, at what point is there going to be some visible curvature? Because again, your own websites are saying that water is spherical in nature, so we should see it, okay, unless you think that Africa is, not on the surface of the globe or somehow inside of the globe or something like that. Okay, if it's on the surface, there would be visible curvature. And this person actually proves that, this globe supporter, in their own comment, he says, at 225, what he doesn't seem to understand is that the direction of down changes. It's always toward the center of the Earth from any point on the surface. Remember, that's why I showed you the diagram of the water coming from Lake Victoria into another lake, into another lake. Why does it go then change its level from there? Okay. He says, as the river is drawn on this diagram, it would be level and not moving, as there is no change in elevation. So it sounds to me like this guy believes we're living on a level plane, and that's the only way that river would really keep moving. Okay. I'm not really sure any other way that this would keep going along this curvature here unless it's just not on the surface of the ball. Okay. So again, show me the picture of the spherical water. I'll take this down, but pretty much as far as the eye can see, this is what the Nile River is going to look like. Okay, and someone commented on a social media post where I shared that video that he lives in Egypt, and it does look flat as far as the eye can see. So I think it's very interesting. I think it's not a bad thing to ask questions. The way that people will attack you honestly just shows the bad science of the globe. Like, they wouldn't get so angry if you weren't striking a nerve. Okay, and the reason I'm talking about this is that looking at rivers and the way that they are level and the way that water always finds its level is one of the oldest experiments that people have been doing to try and prove that we're not living on a spinning ball. Okay, there's a great book. It's called Zetetic Astronomy. And I actually have this book on my digital library, and it's for free online if you look this up. But you can see they do several experiments where they just were on a canal, okay, looking at a river, and they were finding things that they shouldn't have seen with magnification that should be technically below the curvature of the earth, according to the people who designed the spinning ball. Okay, that's your formula, and people are finding things all the time that should be below the curvature. Okay, and again, I think this book is from originally 1865, and there's a few different editions that have more illustrations and are a little bit more explained. But again, like, hey, we had a guy sailing in this direction and a guy sailing in the other direction. We looked and we shouldn't have seen him because of the curvature of the earth, but we could see him. Okay, so that's basically what I'm saying about the Nile. There's just things about this river, the length of it, that show problems with the globe model. Okay, um, people tend to think that we're living on something like this. It's just so big that you can never actually see the curvature. And they make all types of convoluted metaphors and scientific explanations, but it all comes down to theory. Okay, this is what your experience shows, and that's why I've made this video trying to encourage you to study this for yourself. Find some rivers around where you live, see if you can reproduce these results, see what you think. Tell me what you think this says about the curvature of the earth. I'm really interested in your thoughts. Thanks for your time. God bless.